It's official, the Cal State Fullerton women's soccer team is off to the playoffs. It's the first time in 6 years.
Aid is slowly making its way to the Philippines after the area is ravaged by the typhoon. We'll have the latest. And
why are some Cal State Fullerton students going from this to this? I'll tell you why. They're coming up next.
Hello and welcome to OC News. I'm Amra Khan.
And I'm Allie Smith. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Fullerton. The Cal State Fullerton women's soccer team hasn't made it to the big stage in 6 years, and tonight they're on their way to Stanford for the first round of the NCAA tournament.
It wasn't easy getting there, but it sure was exciting for the fans. Our biggest sports fan of all was there to catch the action live. Joining us in studio is our own Ariel Tushiyama.
Guys, the playoffs start for the women's soccer team this Friday as they take on Stanford. Just to put this in perspective, this is a big deal for those of you who may not follow sports. The last time the women's soccer team won the Big West tournament was back in 2007. Getting there was no easy task. It took 4 overtimes and 2 shootouts, but they pulled it off. Let's take a look back at what happened this weekend. Titan Soccer kicked off the Big West tournament Thursday night in a semifinal game against the number 1 seed Cal Poly. The Mustangs got off to a quick start when Sarah Lancaster drew a penalty kick and found the right corner of the goal in the 19th minute. Yet only a few minutes later, the Titans answered back with forward Nikki McCants finding the far post for her second goal of the year and eventually leading the match into overtime. The two squads battled back and forth for 2 overtimes, yet the 1-1 tie led them to a shootout for the Titans' second year in a row. Last season, the Titans were led to a shootout against UC Irvine, in which Katie Pulliam, the Titans' backup goalkeeper, with her fresh mind and body, was put in to save the game. Well, deja vu here at Titan Stadium, as Pulliam once again is brought in for the shootout, in which she stopped 2 Mustang penalty kicks to help the Titans advance to the championship on Sunday.
I got the first one. I had confidence in that, but it's hard kind of going from last year and just kind of getting it over with quickly to I just was hoping she didn't get one, really. I mean, it's hard to stop the PK. It's pretty much 50-50 chance, so you just got to do your best.
The battle continued as the Titans stepped out onto the field on Sunday against UC Riverside, who beat them 1-0 during regular conference play. Fullerton brought their A game as senior Nikki McCants has another goal in the tournament in the 14th minute, putting the orange and blue up 1-0. With only 3 minutes left of the game, a foul comes back to haunt them as Highlander Tyler Cunningham places a penalty kick in the upper right corner to send them to overtime. 2 overtimes later, the Titans head to their second consecutive shootout and once again brings in Katie Pulliam, who knocks down the first shot. Pulliam then again turns around and knocks down not only the second but the third shot as well. The last Highlander shot strays wide as the Titans win the 2013 Big West Conference title. The NCAA tournament is single elimination, and the Titans will have to win 4 games to get to the College Cup. I'll have a complete look at the rest of the sports scene later in the show for you guys. Back to you.
5 inmates at the Men's Central Jail in downtown Los Angeles who were beaten were awarded $210,000 by a federal jury on Tuesday. The jurors decided to award the damages against the sheriff's deputy supervisors. Just last week, the same jury found 28 Los Angeles County deputies and supervisors liable for excessive force against the inmates at the Men's Central Jail. The deputies were found to be using tasers on the unconscious inmates. 19 of the 27 inmates had to be hospitalized and were found with fractured legs, skulls, and eye sockets. The Sheriff's Department called the acts necessary, as inmates are considered the worst of the worst and were ready to fight. The LA County supervisors are expected to pay the damages. Just last month, LA County Sheriff Lee Baca was found responsible in another inmate beating case.
This past Saturday, a youth pastor from Pomona was shot and killed as he was dropping off youth from his church at the movie theaters. The shooting occurred when they approached a stop sign and a suspect walked up and opened fire. The pastor, Daniel Diaz, was the passenger of the vehicle driven by friend Eddie Reyes, who came out of the attack with no injuries. Diaz was a pastor at New Beginning Community Ministry in Baldwin Park, which was led by his parents. He also served as a role model to the youth at the church since a lot of them were fatherless and had no guidance. A suspect description was not available, but the search continues in finding the gunman.
The temperatures are still warm this late in the fall season. Daniel Zamilpa has your local weather report.
Thanks, Amra. I don't know about you all, but I, for one, am so tired of this heat. Today we're going to have a high temperature of 87 degrees with a low about 57 degrees tonight. So sadly, no coats and scarves today, but I wouldn't say put them away just yet because we're going to cool down later in the week. We're looking at a high of 80 degrees tomorrow. Then we'll jump down to a high of 69 degrees on Friday and creep lower this weekend, even with a high of 64 on Saturday, a high of 67 on Sunday, and a low of 47 degrees. I'll get my scarf and cup of coffee right now. Now, it's a little ways away, but if you're planning to travel during the Thanksgiving break, which could not have come at a better time, you might want to start prepping the clothes you're going to pack now. It's estimated that the Pacific Northwest is going to be around the low 50s, high 40s generally, but I'm not talking about the Kardashian baby. If you're thinking more about going to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York City and the surrounding areas, temperatures will be in the low 40s to high 30s. And maybe if a warmer Thanksgiving is more of what you're looking for the Floridian and southern weather, we'll probably be getting temperatures around the mid to high 70s. And if you plan on staying local, you can look forward to sunny skies and temperatures in the high 70s and low 80s. Back to you, Amra and Allie.
Thanksgiving is 2 weeks away, and that only means Black Friday is fast approaching. While many stores are opening in the wee hours of the morning, Walmart is opening its doors at 6 p.m. Thursday, Thanksgiving night. Online Walmart sales are going to begin Thanksgiving morning as well. The company is in hopes of competing with other competitors who are opening up earlier this year for Black Friday. The company is prepared as electronics will be the hottest items again. They are increasing its stock of televisions by 65% and doubling the number of tablets computers for sales.
Our colleagues are busy right now getting all the information together for tomorrow's Daily Titan. Here's Dylan Lujano to give us a preview. When we come back, geology students take a trip back in time and we'll see what's going on in the political world. All that next and more.
TitanTV is a student-operated facility maintained by students.
It's on the Cal State Fullerton campus, and it's a great opportunity for Cal State Fullerton students to get hands-on experience directly in a studio environment.
Working with TitanTV puts me in this professional environment. Everyone here is really fun to work with, and everyone just gets along so well. I'm having a great time.
Titan Radio is Cal State Fullerton's own radio station located in the basement of Pollock Library. Students can stop by and pick up an application during operating hours. Anyone who has a computer and internet can listen to us www.titanradio.org. A lot of people who want to pursue TV and film usually start out in radio, so it's always a great opportunity.
Watching TitanTV.
Rocks? Yes, you heard correct. One geology class left the suburbs of Fullerton to take a look back in time.
These Cal State Fullerton students packed up, left, and went running for the hills this past weekend. But it wasn't just any walk in the park for this geology earth history class. They walked and hiked up steep mountainsides just to get a closer look into the past. Behind me here in your mountains is the Paletta Formation, which is the ancient reef bed. This is where some of the geology students, if you can see right behind me up on these hills, are examining some of the fossils that have been left behind. Dr. and Professor Adam Woods, who led the trip, says it's
Lower
a lot of
Cambrian,
fun,
good. So they were
but
around in the
is it
lower
necessary?
Cambrian. So they're
Definitely, yeah, because I think it brings everything that they learn in the classroom kind of home, so they can sort of see. It's one thing to talk about fossils, but to actually see them and collect them is a whole different thing.
Although these Cal State Fullerton students spent most of their time out on the barren land, fortunately for them, they had a campsite that offered basic necessities and a much cooler and breathtaking spot to relax. Computer science major Miles Persons tell us it was a lot of work, but did he enjoy himself?
I did. I go camping a lot, so coming out here, spending the weekend out in the wilderness is something I enjoy doing every weekend.
And after just 3 days out in the middle of once sea-covered land, students said goodbye to their once home away from home. Reporting from this desert oasis near Owens Valley, I'm Donna Clark with OC News. And now here joining us is Professor Adam Woods. He's here to answer some of the questions that we may all have on our minds about geology. So Professor, thank you so much for being here. When people think of geology, they think rocks. How boring, right? But that's not quite the case, correct? It's actually quite fun and so much more than just that.
Oh, sure. There's way more to geology than just rocks. You're learning about how the earth works. You're learning about where different natural resources are found and how they occur. You're learning about past life on the planet. Without rocks, we wouldn't be able to study dinosaurs or any of the other kind of interesting things that have happened in our past.
That's really cool. And so why is geology so important? Is it because we wouldn't know the past without geology?
Yeah, it's because without geology, we really wouldn't know anything at all about our past, but also, you know, without geology, we wouldn't have our modern society. We wouldn't know where metals are, or we wouldn't know where oil is to sort of fuel things. So geology is a good way of sort of providing all of these different things for us, but just from kind of a more personal standpoint, I always talk to my students about how your one, time you might deal with a geologist other than taking my class is when you buy a house, because you have to know what your house is built on top of, and if you don't know that, you have the potential for, say, a landslide happening.
Oh, wow.
And so it's good to know that before you buy a house. So.
Absolutely. I don't think any of us would want that happening.
No.
So the field trip that we just saw in the clip was your 201 Earth History class. Now, how does that tie into what you guys were learning out in the field?
Oh, sure. Well, when I have my class, I kind of lecture about different things in Earth history and give people all sorts of names of these kind of dry fossils and that kind of stuff. But to actually be able to go out in the field and see it, I think it really brings it home for people to be able to, hold a piece of that past in their hands.
Yeah, I was actually had the opportunity to be there, and it was really amazing to look at those fossils. So is it common for a geology department or your 201 class to go on these type of trips?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Pretty much every one of our classes runs field trips. Not all of our 101s do because the classes are really big, but for any sort of smaller class, we run field trips in almost all of them.
Oh, well, there you go, guys. So you can go on these trips. So what is the coolest thing or most treasured rock, fossil, geological area you have found or maybe explored since your time here at Cal State Fullerton?
Sure. Back in 2006, I got to go to Oman, which is in the Middle East, and it's kind of a geologic wonderland. There's all kinds of different sorts of geological features and just cool fossils and things there, and so I got to explore that for about 2 weeks. And
definitely
felt
like a kid in a candy store.
Oh, it was great, yeah.
All right, well, now I'm sure this is a question that many of us have on our minds. Can non-geology students take these classes and or attend the field trips?
They can take 201 classes and go on those field trips, and maybe for some of our special topics related 101 classes, we have a dinosaurs class and we have a volcanoes and earthquakes class that a non-major could go on. So yeah, there's opportunities there for them.
Awesome. Well, hopefully we get some more students in. Now, why would you recommend a major like geology to students who are undecided or looking to get into geological sciences?
Sure. Well, if you're interested in the natural world and how the world works, it's a great major for that. You can learn a lot. But also, just from a more practical standpoint, there's a big demand for geologists at the moment that isn't being filled. And so, nearly 100% of our geology majors actually do get jobs that apply for them. And so it's a great major in terms of if you want to get employed.
That is awesome.
And it's a lot of fun.
It sounds like a lot of fun. Now, is there anything else that you might want to add?
Just that if you're thinking about changing your major, geology is definitely a good way to go.
Thank you so much for being
You're
here,
welcome.
Professor Adam
My pleasure.
Woods. We appreciate you being here. So for more on geology, you guys can go ahead and visit the geology department here on campus or go on the website. Back to you guys.
The devastation of Typhoon Haiyan continues as family members are still trying to track down their loved ones. CNN's Patricia Wu caught up with Hong Kong-based Daisy Nemeth, who is still trying to find family living in Tacloban.
As Super Typhoon Haiyan smashed into Tacloban, destroying lives, it also broke Daisy Nemeth's heart here in Hong Kong.
So your family has lived in Tacloban for generations. How many people have you been looking for?
The closest family is probably 30 or so people.
Her family's homes were about 3 blocks from the ocean.
Well, you can see the only structures that are left are like really large ones. Everything that was housing is gone.
Now Nemeth is scouring the internet for any trace of her loved ones. Her biggest worry, the youngest members of her extended family, ages 4, 6, and 8 years old.
I'm worried that they don't have someone with them. I'm worried that even if they are alive now, that they're living in the streets aligned with decomposing bodies. I mean, it sounds terrible, but that's what reality is right now. So I have no idea.
Nemeth would go search the rubble herself, but she's 6 months pregnant and the mother of twin toddlers. She has tried to hire someone to go search for her, but there are no takers. Those who manage to survive the storm may not survive the aftermath. Food, water, and medicine are scarce, and the threat of disease increases with each day. For Nemeth, each day could bring news. On this day, there is a glimmer of hope. She's gotten word that some members of her family are okay.
It's sheer luck that they were found. It's not thanks to me or anyone else in my family that they were found, even though we've been working day and night.
State of national calamity. And her family's internet search could bring more good news.
I guess a lot of the churches have been having services, because I know this isn't the only clip from a service. My sister has been going through just about all of them, and she happened to see my uncle in it. He's only there for a few seconds. I'm 99% sure that it's him.
But they don't know where the church service was or how to reach him, so the search for her beloved uncle and other missing family members continues. In the meantime, she does what she can to cope. Patricia Wu, CNN, Hong Kong.
Camera two, go.
More drama unfolds in Washington, and the city of Toronto continues to make news. Garshpalpreet Sangha has more in politics.
Thanks, Allie. We start you off in Washington. According to Quinnipiac University polling, President Barack Obama's approval rating among American voters has dropped to its lowest numbers. Only 39% of voters approve how he is handling his job, while 54% disapprove. Only 19% say they believe the quality of their health care will improve next year, while 43% said it will get worse. In the last month, Obama jungled the rollout healthcare.gov and questions over his initial promises about healthcare. Speaking of healthcare, the Obama administration said some 106,185 people signed up for Obamacare in its first month of operation. As we all know by now, the period marred with major technological problems with both the federal and state enrollment websites. Less than 27,000 Americans selected an insurance plan through the federal healthcare.gov site, which handled more than 36 states. The heavily anticipated initial figures are a long way from the 7 million people the Congressional Budget Office projected that would gain coverage throughout the exchanges in 2014. After trying to fend off the Republicans over his healthcare position, now President Barack Obama has to deal with his own party. Former President Bill Clinton is wading into the Obamacare controversy. CNN's Jim Acosta has more.
When it comes to Obamacare, it's not just the president versus Republicans anymore. Even his most loyal Democrats in Congress say it's time to fix it.
I think we need to look at the political reality. We need to be open to constructive changes to make this law work better.
One leading proposal from Louisiana Senator Mary Landrieu would make the president keep his promise. If you like your insurance plan, you can keep it. 4 fellow Democrats, including vulnerable incumbents up for re-election next year, have signed on.
It is very upsetting to someone who supported this bill to have this gummed up, but I think it can be fixed.
The Democratic defections picked up steam when former President Bill Clinton urged President Obama to stick to his pledge.
So I personally believe, even if it takes a change in the law,
the president should honor the commitment the federal government made to those people and let them keep what they got.
White House officials say President Obama agrees, but they won't say what changes he will support.
So the president agrees, even if it takes a change in the law.
Well, what I just said, Jim, is that the president has instructed his team to look at a range of options.
The Obamacare fiasco has damaged the president's image. A new Quinnipiac poll finds just 39% of Americans approve of the job he's doing. What's worse, 52% say they don't think the president is honest and trustworthy. His lowest numbers ever in that poll in both categories.
He is angry. He is right to be angry. He was not well served by his colleagues in the administration.
Former administration official Larry Summers told CNN's Aaron Burnett the president and the White House have learned some important Obamacare lessons the hard way.
You need experts. You need to trust, but even more, you need to verify. You can't go rushing the schedule when you get behind or you end up making more errors.
Jim Acosta, CNN, Washington.
Drama continues to build in our neighboring country. After hours of contentious debate, the Toronto City Council voted 37-5 to ask its embattled mayor to take a leave of absence. But Rob Ford has said on numerous occasions that he's going nowhere. Last week, Ford apologized after admitting to smoking crack cocaine. Ford has said that he's been a good mayor and that voters will decide during next year's election whether to keep him. We'll keep you up to date on the latest political news. Back to you guys.
When we come back, we'll see what's going on in the sports world, plus a look into the devastation in the Philippines, and we'll take a look at what went down at the MTV European Music Awards.
I'm folding the pants. The pants are long. Do they go on my head? Do they? Do the pants go on my head? No. Do they go on
Everyday moments can become teaching moments because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at thornlearning.org.
So, April, yeah? You know your charger's still using energy when it's plugged into the wall, right?
Yeah, but that's not my charger. I don't even have a cell phone.
Millions of kids are using their energy wisely. What's your excuse?
Titan basketball has just begun, and for a complete look, here's Ariel Tuchiyama with the latest in sports.
Thanks, Amra. Titan men's basketball won their first game of the season this past Saturday at Montana State, 84-55. First-year head coach Dedrick Taylor is the 5th out of 11 head coaches to kick off his Titan career with a win. The Titans were led offensively by junior guard Alex Harris, who had a game-high of 20 points, shooting 8 of 13 from the floor and 2 of 4 from the three-point range. 3 other Titans also had points in double digits, and the Titans shot 62.1% in the first half. The Titans are on the road playing at Seattle University tonight, with game time scheduled for 7 p.m. at the Key Arena. Let's dribble down the road to LA, where the Lakers took on the New Orleans Pelicans last night at the Staples Center. Forward Jordan Hill gets his first start of the season for the Lakers and goes right up the middle. Lakers up 40-23. Third quarter, watch this. Xavier Henry goes in hard with the slam dunk. Forward Jordan Hill led the team with 11. Wrong spot. It's okay, I don't know where I'm at. Forward Jordan Hill led the team with 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 2 assists, while the Pelicans were led by Eric Gordon with 17 points, 1 rebound, and 3 assists. The Lakers are headed to Denver to take on the Nuggets tonight. Tip-off is at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, I don't know if... Now, once again, the women's soccer team had a huge win this last weekend, so be sure to catch them this Friday at 7 p.m. as they take on Stanford. You can catch the game live at www.gostanford.com. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Ariel. In this week's entertainment, the MTV European Music Awards made headlines. Blockbuster has come to an end, and Lady Gaga's 4th studio album was released this week. Melissa Munoz has the scoop.
So cool! I was just sitting back there drinking a champagne, just looking at all those amazing artists.
Katy Perry took home the Best Female Award at the 2013 European Music Awards held in Amsterdam this past weekend, hosted by Redfoo from LMFAO, in which he made several outfit changes, one of which he bravely wore only a Speedo on stage. Miley Cyrus continues her attention-begging streak while performing. Her video Wrecking Ball won for Best Video, and as she accepted the award, she pulled out what appeared to be a marijuana joint. Blockbuster's owner Dish Network is shutting down its rental service this Saturday, and what better way than to end it with a comedy? The last rental was checked out in Hawaii. The news reached Seth Rogen, in which he tweeted, "The last movie I ever rented at Blockbuster was This Is the End. In high school, I would go hang out at Blockbuster every day. This is certainly the end of rental services at Blockbuster." Project One Ray's hardcore critic Tim Gunn has another project up his stylish sleeve. Lifetime is premiering another fashion competition series fittingly titled Under the Gun in January. It will feature Project Runway alums mentoring up-and-coming designers at the FITM campus in Los Angeles. Lady Gaga's 4th studio album was released Tuesday. Listeners can expect the track to be as eccentric and artsy as the album cover. Critics are calling it a splatter effect of ideas.
Calling all animal lovers, ever tried running with your furry best friend? The Rescue Train hosts Race for the Rescue, a non-competitive race to raise money for animal shelters. Ivana Nguyen has the story.
Rescues in Irvine. Animal lovers of all ages participated in a 10K, 5K, or 1K. While many dogs ran with their owners, some dogs decided to take it easy, and some did it in style.
Our motto is promoting life and promoting adoption, so any and every avenue we can to get people into our shelter and visiting the animals that are available for adoption increases the chances of us adopting them out. And that is our ultimate goal, is to find loving homes for all of the animals that we have at the shelter.
Medals were given to the top finishers in each race. There were activities for everyone, including hot air balloon rides, a dog adoption fashion show, and even pet sidekicks. Event goers could also adopt and take home a pooch of their own. I'm here with Cassidy, and he's just one of the many cuties that you can adopt at the Race for Rescues event in Irvine. All of the proceeds go to animal shelters and helps them find loving homes for these adorable pets. Southern California has one of the worst pet population problems in the country. The Rescue Train encourages everyone to spay and neuter their pets and adopt from animal shelters.
They should adopt instead of shop, because every animal bought from a shelter, bought from a breeder or from a store, steals a home from an animal in the shelter who will lose his life ultimately if he doesn't find a home.
All proceeds go to 15 nonprofit animal welfare organizations. This helps cover huge vet and boarding costs to care for each animal. So far, the Race for Rescues has helped raise over $2 million.
The more money we can help these rescue groups raise, the more animals' lives they can save. And we know, because we're a no-kill nonprofit animal rescue ourselves, and we know what it takes. And it takes a lot of resources, and it takes animals getting adopted at events like this. So it's teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work.
If you're interested in adopting a pet or coming out next year, you can visit racefortherescues.org or ocpetinfo.com. In Irvine, I'm Ivana Nguyen reporting.
That's going to do it for us here at OC News. I'm Amra Khan.
And I'm Allie Smith. We'll see you on the next edition of OC News.